Hey, we're live. Hello, Bobette. That's very kind of you. I'm so glad you're enjoying these films. They're recorded very much, well, this is live, to encourage you in this time. It's been so difficult for everyone. So, origami is a really wonderful way, I think, of lifting the spirits. I was asked to learn some origami by a patient at UCH, which is where I work. So these films, hello Eric, have very much been reaching out in to my colleagues at UCH, a hospital in London, and part of the team there. And hello, David. Yes, a nice colourful paper. So yeah, these films are all dedicated to my colleagues, encouraging self-care, particularly for those working in hospitals during this difficult time. But at the moment, obviously, we're all having to be distant. So these folds are very much for everybody who feels that they could benefit. I know I benefit from doing some origami. So while we stay safe, keep our distance, this is a way that we can feel close and connected and a bit excited about life. It's helped me over this time. So I hadn't expected to be doing it for almost a year now. It was March last year that I started, actually, because I work one day a week in the hospital, and this was really my only way of keeping it going, was to go remote along with other colleagues. So it's a way of supporting each other. So this one I'm really excited about. I came across quite a few videos of this on YouTube and really enjoyed it. It's unclear who has invented this, and I've been asking around, and it does seem unclear. It sounds as if others have been asking too. It's a really neat little unit. It's quite simple, but as actually are our entire bodies as well, made of simple little tiny units stuck together, they become something complex and wonderful and beautiful. And I couldn't resist using all sorts of different coloured papers. But it could be a modular snake. I've been hanging it up, and then it looks like a rainbow, which I rather like. I will be, hello Stephen, hello Penny. So I will be showing you, hello Margaret, and I'll show you just from plain paper, but you could also colour that. So, or if you've got wrapping paper, obviously if you've got origami paper. Hello Junid as well in India, so cool. And you've been doing lots too. Origami connects us from around the world. So you can make this into a full circle, and it sort of can turn around, but I've ended up keeping it kind of unjoined because I like just playing with it. It feels great. I can hear all the little noises from it as well. Nice little creaking noises. Look at these lovely pens. It's a beautiful structure. It has almost got that feeling of a snake, the lovely segments. I'm a scientist originally. I get really excited about seeing these parallels with life, really. It's a lovely thing. So yes, very ASMR, absolutely. Yeah. And it is very pleasing to fold because it's quite a simple unit, and yet there's a little turn to it and there's a sharpness to it, which is very satisfying. So I think you'll find that you'll start just after a while. If you fold lots and lots, you can just keep going. It'd be lovely to see how long can you get your snake or rainbow. I don't know how many are in this one. Don't know. I'll see whether I add to it or not, but it's very relaxing. So yeah, you might find yourself just making these little units after all without even thinking about it, and joining them up. So I sometimes have like a little pot, and I'd be folding them and then putting the little bits in there. Yeah. So I tend to chat for 5 minutes at the start because it often takes people a little time to arrive. So if any of you do know where this has come from, do say. But as I said, so far I haven't been able to find that out. It does look a bit like actually it reminds me of an eel as well, because you could have a little face on there. It's like a little tail. You need a lot of paper. Yeah. So I'm going to show you just from A4 paper, and we'll make some little squares and just see how we get on. We're not going to do one this long in this time, but it will get you started, and then maybe you can look out for some nice papers that you can use. But you see, I just can't stop playing with it. So yeah, and then I've been hanging it. You can see in the background I've got a pair of silver wings over there. I've been hanging it up over those, and it looks like a rainbow. It just makes me smile. Right, so I'm going to turn you around and grab something to press on. I've got some coloured pencils as well. I might have a go at colouring as well. Okay, so grab yourself something to press on. I'm going to show you just from A4 paper. Now, I think it depends how big you want to do it. I would guess kind of quite ultimately you'd aim for something quite long. So you actually don't want these too wide. So yeah, let's just see how it goes. Let's see how many squares I end up making. And for many of us, if you've got children, it's the last week of homeschooling here in the UK. So things will get a little bit easier. We've all been trying to juggle everything so much, folding things in half. Yeah, and what a hard year this has been. So many ways. People, thank goodness for science giving us hope. There we go. And we are doing well with vaccines. And I've been hearing and thinking of India, Junid, that the Oxford vaccine, AstraZeneca vaccine, is being manufactured over there as well. It's just wonderful to hear that's going across the world and making a difference. Excellent. Hello, Louis. It's great to have you here as well. So I'm just going to make a square. So, oh, actually, I'm thinking, how big do I want to do these things? Good question. I'm going to halve this again, actually. So I've done half an A4. I guess that's an A5, and this is now an A6. And I'm going to do a square from that. Hello, honey. Oh, thank you, honey. That's very kind. Well, I think it's helps everyone, doesn't it? Encouraging each other. Taking a corner and making a square. There we go. I think we're social animals, so we definitely find it hard not to be connected. And I think, good harm for these old and weak. Oh, but then the virus is definitely harmful. So yeah, it's been found to be fine. I think with clinical trials, you never start off with the oldest people because they would be vulnerable. So clinical trials always start off with younger, healthy people, which is about doing the right thing. So it does take longer to get that data, but there's no reason to think that it's not good. Quite a lot of people do have quite a strong reaction to the vaccines, it's true. So I've got a square and I'm actually going to make it, I think it's 4 more squares. Yeah, I'm just getting smaller and smaller here. The snake that I've made, I think these little units were 5 by 5. Oh, happy Wednesday, thank you. So quite a lot of people, have had quite strong reactions to the vaccines, which is good. It's getting your immune system ready, and whereas the actual virus definitely can harm. There we go. I had mine, because I'm NHS staff, so we were all offered and invited for a vaccine, which was a huge, amazing opportunity. Of course, I said yes. So I had a vaccine back in January, end of January, and I didn't notice any reaction at all, but people either seem to react very strongly or not. As these things go. Hello, Anka. It's lovely to have you. So Anka's in Germany. It's lovely. All these people from around the world. Hello, Amy. Oh, thank you for joining us, I guess, because you're teaching, aren't you? So I wonder whether then things will change from next week, people being back there in person. Right. So I've just been making lots of little squares. I would recommend just making loads of squares. They all have to be the same size, obviously. So how to fold. So if we get going on these 4, and let's just see how many we feel like doing. But it's something to keep going on as well. And I hope it will be just relaxing. It's definitely a really lovely feel of the ends of this and how it builds up. So definitely that ASMR. Right. So we're just going to fold it in half, make a rectangle. And thanks for joining us too, David, who's brilliant at explaining things. He's been my technical backup there. I'm a little bit shy of diagrams. There we go. So folding it in half to make a rectangle. That's our first step. And then a corner, taking the corner and folding it upwards in a straight line, like that. So I really love the feel of this. Oh, wow. That's great to hear, Stephen. Well, yeah, and actually, I've heard quite a few people that have had flu-like symptoms. It's really curious. It really varies, Connor. But it just goes to show we need to be protected, and it's all part of that. Oh, there we go. And I'm doing the same on the other side. Sorry, these are really tiny triangles, but thankfully I can get this close to the camera, so hopefully you can see. Oh, I'm so glad your mum's been vaccinated, Stephen. Hopefully you should soon too. I mean, it's amazing rollout. It's the one thing we can feel proud of. It's not always felt that great, to be honest, our country, but on that side it has, and actually that really matters, doesn't it? And I think showing the right example of really good scientists who've put in so much time and care. And I'm actually here in Oxford, so it's been really lovely to feel that hope. There was never, ever a guarantee that a vaccine would be even possible. And there are lots out there. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's really needed. Right, so hopefully you've done that. It's fairly simple. Turn to the back, and you're going to then take the top and fold it down. That's it. Just wondering now if I got that right. Yes, I think so. I hope so. And then the same with the other corner. So hopefully soon I will be sharing. I've been working on some resources for the Royal College of Pathologists about viruses and vaccines. And I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to share. Oh, fantastic. There we go. And it includes, I've invented my own little origami syringe. I just found myself playing and making one out of joy to be invited for one. So that'll be fun to share. And adapted a traditional fold to make an antibody as well. Some drawings that come together, all sorts of things. Little flip book and drawings to cut out and colour, all sorts of things for all ages. So hopefully it looks like this. Turn to the back now. And oh, that's good. Glad to hear it, Louis, because you said that your mum works in a Nuffield, a hospital nearby, in which case, yeah, she would be offered, wouldn't she? So there's like a little pocket at the back. If you push on that, it will then squeeze down to make this lovely, sharp, pointy structure, which, as I said, it's the feel of this is just so lovely. And it's got, you can see it's got two little prongy bits there, which will all help for the building. So I made quite a small one here. Yeah, there we go. Next one. So it's just the same thing over and over again, but there's something very comforting about doing something so simple over and over again and making something complex and beautiful. To the square, just folding it in half to make a rectangle. And I'll keep you company for a while, but it would definitely be one for you to continue with if you feel like it. Or you might start thinking, oh, what colours could I use? Wow, from Colombia, Alberto, lovely to meet you. This is so exciting. What international gathering. Bottom corner here, I guess, would it be quite early for you? Quite early in the morning? Yeah, wow. That's very exciting. The world has got smaller in some ways, which is a great thing, that we can be more connected. Corner here, and then folding it up to the top. And hopefully you'll soon find yourself just doing this without even thinking about art, Paul. Oh, excellent. Lovely to have you all here. Yeah, very international. There we go. Turn to the back. Why isn't everyone in the world doing origami? That's what I don't understand. Top corner, bringing it down. That's it. There's certainly worse things to do, aren't there? Better than just, although we are on the internet, using it to be less passive, I think is wonderful. And it's such an everyday, amazing material, paper. I think it is about appreciating the qualities of something maybe we've taken for granted, but maybe we're using less in many ways, aren't we? Because of we're using things online. So again, turn to the back, you find this little pocket, and you can pull out that pocket and start squashing it down from the sides. Don't know if I'm explaining that well enough. So you've got that pocket, lifting it up, and as you're lifting it up, it squashes it to this lovely sort of M shape. I don't know, but I love its sort of pointiness. As I said, it's the feel of this which is just wonderful. And it's got two little bits which later on will slot in nicely. I've not done that this carefully, but it's fine. Always be kind to yourself. Right, squares. So just doing the same thing over and over again. Very relaxing. A nice sense of purpose. See how long a snake you can make. Here we go. Again in the corner, bring it up to the top. And you'll soon find yourself just automatically doing this. This is what I really enjoy about the modular. And I think also because I think about life, that our bodies are made of simple little units, and it's the way they join together and how they fold up. It really is sort of touching on the profoundness of what we are. Well, for me, that's why I get quite excited about it. But I think the wonderful thing is with origami, people find their own kind of side of it that they find interesting. So some people might be animals that they really love, which is great. It's just, I think you find your own, what you're probably interested in already, you'll find a relevance to the origami. Again, the top, bring it down, so on. Someone suggested maybe you could make an infinity sign with this, which is a good idea. But I think you'd have to do quite a long snake for it to do that. And as you saw, I've just ended up leaving it open-ended so I can just play with it, because actually it's the playing with it I'm enjoying the most. And I like how it can look like a rainbow. Yeah. It is a universal language, and it doesn't need it doesn't need words, does it? Exactly universal. I think some of my most fun sessions have been with patients where we've had no language at all. All we could do is sort of laugh and look at each other's paper and try and figure it out together. And maybe sometimes we would communicate better if there was no language. We just have to find a way. Little pocket there, pushing it up, squeezing it down, and hopefully it forms that nice little sharp structure. So I'll do 4, and then we can, I don't know, we can then see how they join together. And I don't know if I'll do another 4 after that or not. Don't know. It's a bit unclear when to stop with this one. Fold it in half. Hopefully you're busy making lots of little squares. Folding. And yeah, the key is just that they're all the same size. There we go. The joy of doing this into a camera. Other skills I've been learning. And at the moment, also welcoming, it's really lovely welcoming new colleagues to our hospital, and who've come from other countries, so come from very far away, places like the Philippines and India, and helping. They have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks in their rooms, so it'd be quite strange to arrive in another country and obviously be alone in a room, which obviously a lot of us would have to do if you travel. So along with all sorts of induction they have to do, obviously online. Really lovely to offer origami sessions, so that way they make a little decoration for their room and get to know each other more socially. And people said it's helped them relax, and of course it's quite boring being in a room by yourself for 2 weeks, so helping with that. So I'm hoping maybe it could be more induction within a hospital, that you arrive, you do origami, you feel cared for. And it's encouraging a tool for well-being, because healthcare staff have been under so much pressure over such a prolonged time. They've seen lots of suffering, would have been very, very difficult for them. So it's just a lovely little tool. We can all grab some paper. There we go. A little pocket. Push it up. Oh, a pet should be a goat. Oh, that's exciting. Are you getting a goat? Oh, maybe you have to fold one first. I don't know. I'm sure goats would definitely eat origami if they got the chance. They like eating everything, don't they? Oh, I love that you're having a good old chat together. Are you folding at the same time? That would be quite a great skill. Eric's, I think, gets the medal for always being able to chat and to do that together. Right. Have as much milk as you want with a goat. True, as long as it's a girl. Here we go. Right, I've made just 4. They look tiny, don't they? All right, let's see if we can explain how to do this. It's obviously just still folding. Yeah, it depends how many you make. I'm still trying to figure out how many I did here. 1, 2, 3. Don't know. Quite a few. I'm not going to count. I'm sure there's a logical way of working it out. But right, how to get these together. So you'll find that there's 2 kind of, yeah, but you still have to write it, Eric. Or are you dictating and it's a smart program? I don't know. So we've got 2 little bits that can stick out there. And, how am I going to explain how to do this? It's been a little while since I've done this. You're seeing me work it out, but you know what? That's what we're all trying to do, isn't it? It's like a lot of paper. Yeah, it was quite a lot of paper. I've got some really nice. I bought quite a few big packs from Paperchase, which were like 10 by 10 centimeter square blocks of 10 different colors, and they just look so beautiful together. So I love doing modular pieces with those. I think I might have cut each square into 4 actually, I think, because otherwise they would have been too big. So lots of piece of paper, indeed. Right, how to get this together. So if you have them both the same way round, the little slots will go in, she says. So whether I can remember. Yes, I think that's it. So you can, there are the slots at the top there, and I'm just putting one in between those other 2 and bringing it down and leaving a little bit of a gap, because you want that little room in order to be able to make it get bigger and to articulate around those points. Oh, yes, exactly. So having it that sort of point, then you should be able to take this flap and tuck it underneath this line here. So let's see. Kind of, I guess, keeping it in that position. So you might hold the other side. Oh, this is very interesting because I'm trying to do it while I can't actually see it myself. We can do it all by feel, can't we? So I'm just tucking it in there. Exactly. Yes, the egg-laying chicken. That has to be for Easter. I'm very excited about that. I mentioned it to colleagues in the hospital. Oh, that sounds amazing. So thank you, David. You've been such a help. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's kind of, it's quite a small world, really, the origami one. And I have to say, I still don't feel as if I quite know it all. But we're doing our best. These little flaps and folding in. So I really appreciate help. There's only so much one person can do while trying to help others. There we go. So hopefully you start tucking them in. Let's do another one. That's it. So again, making sure it's always the same way round. So I've got the 2 little prongy bits. Have them the same way round. 2 little prongy bits. Then you should be able to push that in those gaps. And again, each time leaving a little sort of rim so that it's slowly getting longer, this little snake. And each time this little flap you're tucking in. So obviously no glue. That's right. Again, the joys of not seeing what I'm doing. So I am then going to tuck it round there. That's very true, Margaret. It would be a good idea for in different colours. You could actually see what I was doing. I could see what I was doing. No, I can't see what I'm doing because I can't actually see what I'm doing. I'm doing it to the camera. So I sort of indirectly see it on the screen. And thankfully, YouTube uses a mirror system. There's some filming which doesn't on Facebook, and it completely confuses my brain because you're moving one way and it appears to. You can actually work quite easily into a mirror in effect, but otherwise it's very hard if you actually see how it is. So I see myself effectively in the mirror. There we go. Again, tucking that in. Yeah, I think I'm going to, yeah, definitely. I would recommend that you do this obviously in different colours. It's more fun, as I have done. And you get this lovely sort of banding pattern. Can you see where the sort of colours move from one to the other? So you will see that. But what I might try in a second is I'm going to have a go at just colouring these in a little bit. And you might find some interesting effects. Because even if you don't have lovely colour papers, you can still make something special. It's about taking the time and the care. So again, popping that in. Oh, yep. Popping that in. Making sure there's a gap that you're happy with. Each time letting it get a little bit bigger. And I guess it's not particularly accurate, this. Just judging it by your eye, it will make it very unique. Enjoy your uniqueness. Again, I'm tucking that down, and you just keep going, and it feels wonderful, this. So I think when I was doing it, I had a little pot, lots of different colour papers, and then would just happily sit there watching or listening to things while colouring. I'm going to start having a little play. Exactly, yeah, podcasts, exactly. Listen to the radio. I do love my colouring in pencils. I don't know, let's just see what happens. Maybe you could have an experiment too. You can obviously have lovely papers that you bought. If you don't have those, you can still make things special. Maybe I'll put some red there. You can actually maybe do things that are impossible otherwise. Turn it to your advantage. Orange. Yeah, I can start doing little two-toned ones. Very satisfying. Yeah, so colouring in is another very satisfying thing. So combining the two could be a very happy thing. Oh, I think I want to do my orange, which I think is, oh, did I do that? Maybe. A little bit inspired by how it does work out with. I'll get completely lost now in colouring. Different thing too. Experiment. Make it unique. I'm also seeing how uneven my folding is. Maybe I can put it on the, doing it into a camera means it's a little bit harder. And actually the resources for the Royal College of Pathologists on viruses and vaccines, I'm excited because I've been sharing. So it's a mixture of adult colouring in about the virus, but about also how your body reacts to viruses, how vaccines work. And so it's a mixture. So you can print out and do some colouring in, cutting up, also some origami, and I've been interviewing pathologists, so people who study viruses as well as the immune system, who are absolutely lovely, and I've been asking them questions. And so the idea is you can print it out, use it, colour in while listening. So exactly as you were saying, like listening to a podcast, you're listening to us chatting away while you can also use it yourself. So yeah, so you can sort of make your own rainbowy thing if you haven't got colours. Why not? And it's that movement, which if you have enough of them, then you could really articulate it. Hence getting. I'm stuck on tucking in. Oh, shall I demonstrate again? Maybe if I do a couple of big pieces. That's a good idea. Right, I'm going to make another two of the units, completely different scale. That's a bit bigger, and I can show about the tucking in because I was trying to show you tiny little bits of paper for some time. So I'm going to quickly make 2 units. So if you're still making units, this will all be making units quite a while. Might as well. Fold your rectangle. It's not very neat. Right. There we go. Beauty of paper is you can reposition it until you're happy. And using your exactness is a good thing with the origami. It does help greatly. So, and then just taking the outside. And great. I will happily show you. Thank you for speaking up. I appreciate that. So I'm just doing some big modules so that you can see what on earth I'm doing. Hopefully. I'll do 2 and then demonstrate the tuck. So you can always get on with folding more units. Oh, look after yourself, Anchor. Hope things get better. Someone else caring for their parent too. Maybe a bit like you, Stephen, looking after others. Yeah. We've all been put under lots of pressure, haven't we, this year? Great. So turning to the back. Right. Bring it out. Oh. Don't try and hold these things under speed. It doesn't work. Definitely go slowly with origami. Oh. Oh, and he's got the good advice there. I'm going to make 2 so that we can show you a little bit bigger. Oh yes, because you know what you're doing, holding things, isn't it? You'll know this already, I'm sure. So thank you for dropping by. It's lovely. It's almost, I do think of it as a table which we gather around, or a little room that we pop up and say hello each week. Thank you for coming along. Yeah, well described. Tuck down to both. The thing is, when you do things that are a little bit trickier, I think that's part of the satisfaction. You do something harder, then when you finally crack it, you'll feel so good about yourself. Whereas super easy things, you're not going to have that same level of satisfaction. Right, turn to the back. Pushing in that. And it just changes. Line those up. Right, let me see if I can show you visually as well. Honey's given a great description there. But sometimes it can still be hard to put these things into. Oh, this is really wonky, this one. That's it. Right. So with the units, always have them the same way round. So you see it's almost like the 2 little legs or something. So definitely have them the same way round. Jesus, I'm just trying to find out. So these little legs, oh, I don't want to continue that analogy. Right, this one's gonna tuck up in, and it's these little, maybe arms. That's probably a bit safer analogy there. So one will tuck into the other, so they're the same way round. Push in, and then leave a little gap. Can you see there's a nice little gap? And it's the ends which are loose. You're simply going to fold inwards. So underneath, can you see there's a little line? So keep everything in the place that it is. You want to keep that little gap here. Always keeping that gap so it can be articulated. Oh, is yours really tiny? Well, that's good. So you'll be able to make a really long snake with lots of paper. So can you see? So there's that line, and simply I'm going to keep it in position and tuck it down so it lines up along that line. Again, I think with origami, it's your own little discovery. As you're having it in your hands, it will start to click. Can you see? That tucked in quite nicely. And on the back, again, there's this loose flap. So, oh, glad you enjoyed it, Amy. I'm curious what you're going to do, what colours you're using, how big you're going to make it, if it's going to be a circle or if it's going to be longer, or what shapes you can make with it. And again, this loose flap that you can tuck it down into there. That's it, squeeze down, that's enough. Again, it's a little bit monkey mind, but it's fine. And again, it's got a little bit of room for manoeuvre, and that room for manoeuvre is what allows you to build up a articulating snake structure. Did that help? I hope it did. I've also recorded a video as well, which may be clearer, as I would have just been me focusing on doing that. So that also might help. But hopefully you'll soon get the hang of it. And once you sort of understand it yourself, then it just starts to work. 2 flaps, it's going to be secure. It's a really nice design. I don't know who's come up with this design, but it's a brilliant design, isn't it? So neat and so simple, but very effective. And actually, when it builds up, it really forms a lovely structure. There's a good sort of 3-dimensional feel to it. Different areas you can appreciate. I love these end sides, how it's kind of domed, how you've got this change of colour, sound it makes. Lovely, isn't it? You can turn around, so you can join it so it becomes a full circle. I've just ended up leaving mine open-ended. Oh, yes, there's so much you can do with it. So I wish you all a really good week. Keep well, keep up the distancing, things will get better. Thank goodness for science, and I'll be sharing more folds. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Stephen. Yeah, it is. It's really good, and it's not an obvious thing, even though it's sort of simple. That little, I love that change in direction with when you're folding it, how it goes from being one thing to another. There's so much in it, I think, to enjoy. I've really enjoyed this. So I hope it just makes you feel, oh yeah, slightly kind of zingy. That's what I find with it anyway. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming along, everybody. And keep well, enjoy your folding. I hope you can make a really long snake or rainbow. Thank you. Bye-bye.